I wanted to start off 2021 right, but so I watched a classic Studio Ghibli film. Castle in the Sky can be considered the first ever film from Studio Ghibli if you don't count Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which was not released under the studio but is widely considered and grouped with the rest of the studio's films. Being the first film to come out of the studio was a big responsibility to hold. It needed to be a powerful yet charming piece of work that would define the direction the studio would take in its forthcoming works. This is the film that would declare to the world that something industry shaking would be coming from the studio. And boy, does it do just that. Hello there, my name is Lucy Kolzik, and this is The Start of a Legacy, a Castle in the Sky review. This film honestly blew me away with its characters, story, world building, and animation. What I love most about Miyazaki films is they don't settle for cheap laughs, but rather spend their time developing their characters and plot in order to deliver a more important message. The entire story was just so tight and able to fill 2 hours with so much light and adventure. I'm always a sucker for the good initial bad guy turns out to be a total softie and ends up helping the hero in the end trope. And this film executed it perfectly. Dola and her family of pirates were expertly developed and brought a delightful mix of funny and heartfelt moments. You just can't help loving the protagonists of this film. Both Shida and Patsu were both such compassionate and upstanding people that you couldn't help but root for them the entire time. And Shida and Patsu had one of the most wholesome and beautiful relationships I think I've ever seen. Right from the moment that they're introduced, you can see what pure-hearted people they are. And watching their sheer determination to protect each other made you want to root for them to achieve their goals even harder. The animation honestly blew me away at times. My favorite scenes, visually speaking, were the cave scene in the beginning, with the lights on the ceiling, and then when Patsu and Shida were flying into Laputa through the storm. The way that they used lighting was just so impressive, and I was mesmerized the whole time I watched those scenes. Another point I want to touch on is the world building. From the opening scene alone, you can understand the history of Laputa just by the visuals. You can also learn so much from just observing the design of the city of Laputa and how these people lived. The creative innovations that Miyazaki created to include in the film were incredibly unique and added so many layers to the world. It's no wonder that this film inspired a mass wave of steampunk, anime, and manga. And above all, this was a film about love. That love is stronger than any war or weapon, and that's a beautiful sentiment. I also think an unspoken message was that some things are just far too beautiful for greedy humans to touch. Greed for power or money only destroys the beautiful city in the sky. Now it's left to flourish on its own, remaining only a legend in the memory of the hearts of our heroes. Castle in the Sky was the start of Studio Ghibli's legacy, and that legacy would shape the world in many of our childhoods. The work Miyazaki produced would go on to inspire animation everywhere, including Pixar here in the States. This is the movie that set the bar high for what Studio Ghibli could produce, and they continued to deliver stories like this for many years to come. And I think, if anything, for a first movie, it's a pretty damn good one. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucy Kolzik, and if you liked what you saw, please hit the subscribe button for more movie or TV reviews.